Okay, I'm going to take my Rictor electric scooter for a ride. This thing is interesting, folds up, it has Bluetooth, lots of options here going on, and this is fun. Stay tuned, we'll learn more about it. This thing showed up at my front door in this giant box. You just need a handful of tools, a box cutter, Allen wrench, and you're good to go. There are 4 bolts really to kind of put into place. Otherwise, this thing is set up for you. It probably took me, I would say, about 10 minutes or so to get this thing ready to roll. Then plugged it in, charged it for a couple hours, and took it out for some fun. I do enjoy this scooter. It's a lot of fun. Decent sized motor. It's not incredibly fast, which actually I kind of prefer because I think my kids are going to be using this thing. Got a nice light, good handlebar grip, thumb throttle. This thing is fun. Let's learn a little bit more about it. So this is my first product from Rictor. And Rictor, they make e-bikes, electric motorcycles, and obviously electric scooters. And actually, this is my first electric scooter, so I had a whole lot of fun reviewing this. It was a little different. You know, I'm used to e-bikes and, of course, drones. So let's learn a little bit about this e-scooter, and I'll tell you what I think. Now, first of all, I rode this thing. I'm an average-sized adult. I'm about 5'11". I also let my son ride it. He's a little bit smaller than I am, about 5'5" or so. So I found it comfortable to ride. He found it comfortable to ride. So it's going to fit a variety of different riders. Some things you're going to want to know about it, right? It has a range of up to 28 miles. Now, range is certainly going to be something that changes depending on how you ride and where you ride and who's riding. So kind of keep that in mind. It does have a 350 watt motor. It is a brushless motor that gets you up to about 15.5 miles an hour. So it's not incredibly fast. And there are a handful of different modes, speed modes. And I'll talk about that in a little bit when I get into the Bluetooth app, because that's kind of a neat feature. This has a dedicated Bluetooth app. Now that 350 watt motor will get you up to a 20% slope, right? So it'll be able to take a decent incline, but listen, you're not riding this thing up a mountain. It does have oversized 10-inch tires. It's got a dual arm front suspension to kind of help smooth out some of the bumpy roads. Like, no, we're not taking this thing off-roading, but it will make some of the rougher terrain just a little bit smoother. You know, I do really like some of the features on this thing. It has a nice bright headlight up front. And one of the things that I thought was really cool was the built-in lock, right? So on the side, you can go ahead and pull the lock out. You don't have to pack a bike lock or something like that. It's built in, which is really pretty darn cool, actually. I wish that more bikes had that feature. Seems like it could be easy to do. Hey guys, let's do it. So kudos to Rictor for doing that. Nice job. The LCD display in there is pretty basic, but bright enough and gives you the information you need, your speed, you know, if your Bluetooth is working, if your headlight is on or not, how many miles or kilometers actually you've gone. Now, this thing does come showing you kilometers per hour, and you can actually change it to miles per hour in the app. Other things you want to note, it does have a tail light, it does have a kickstand, it is IPX5 waterproof, so there's a lot of good things happening here. It's a really solid bike. I enjoy riding it. My son enjoys riding it. Now, the brake tends to be a little bit heavy. You know, it takes a little bit getting used to, which I think, you know, you're going to want to, you know, make sure you test it out. Let's talk a little bit about the app. You're going to go online, you're going to download the app, and it'll do a handful of things. You can turn the light on and off through the app. You can change your mode, right? There are 3 speeds, basically, slow, medium, and fast. But sport mode, which is their fast mode. There's actually a button here where you can lock out sport mode. So say you have kids like I do and you don't want them going as fast as this thing can go. I just turn it off in the app and I don't give them access to it, and they can't. I think I mentioned earlier you can actually change the units for kilometers to miles per hour. You do that in the app. And you can also find your bike. It'll search if it's within reach, and you can push a button, it'll start beeping. That's kind of nice. It'll also tell you how much approximate range you have left on the battery. So that's kind of cool, and how far you recently ridden. So the app is a nice touch for sure. Definitely found that to be useful, and I'm a big fan. So this thing is not super light. It's almost 40 pounds, but it can handle a rider up to 265 pounds. So keep that in mind. It does fold up for easy storage or to put in your trunk. So keep that in mind. It does come with a charger, and it's going to take almost 8 hours to charge a dead battery to full. So overall, I had a good time riding this thing. And if you're looking for an e-scooter, this is definitely a solid option. Now, I don't have a whole lot to compare it to, but I certainly enjoyed riding this Rictor e-scooter. If you got a question or comment for us, leave it down below. We'd love to hear from you.